Hey Troy, thanks for your time. First, want to check with you on injury status or any other player updates heading into the weekend.
Yeah, we're hoping to have a couple guys back for the weekend, whether they're in the 20-man roster or not. That's going to be a decision that we make very shortly here before we travel. But a couple guys are making progress, so we're optimistic. But there's still going to be a handful of guys as well that are going to be in a similar position as last week.
Got it. And heading into this weekend, what are some of your thoughts on Portland and what they were able to do in their opener? Impressive, just as you guys were in victory.
Yeah, look, they were absolutely impressive, and you could see some of the pieces that they have in terms of the talent that they have. Very dangerous, will hurt you if you make mistakes, and when you're playing at Portland, especially in that atmosphere, it's critical to have a good start to the match, and so that's been a little bit of the talking point for us over the last 2 days in particular about what our match plan is, but what our mentality is first and foremost, because that's a group that can hurt you in a lot of different ways if you don't start in the right fashion.
Got it. Thanks, John.
Next, we'll go to Jason Anderson.
Hi, Troy. Thanks for speaking with us today. You've had a few days to review the match. I know afterwards you said that you told the team that it wasn't perfect, but you liked that they pushed through those moments anyway. Now that you reviewed the match, what were some of those moments that maybe weren't perfect that you have made an emphasis this week to improve on?
Yeah, I mean, look, starting with the positive, I have to say we wanted to start with the positivity from the match, and yeah, I'll answer your question about the things that we need to work on, but there are many things that we saw in terms of the pictures that we liked, particularly in the first 25 minutes prior to the red card, that we need to replicate against any opponent in terms of how we want to make an opponent feel stressed and feel like they're being disrupted high up the field. And on the flip side, how do we create more clear chances for ourselves? Because even when we're up a man, we get too many shots blocked and we don't have enough final product. So I think those questions kind of go hand in hand, as well as just some improvement about decision making with the ball. I think that's something that we have to continue to challenge ourselves on as we establish our foundation against the ball. We also have to have really smart decisions with the ball, so we don't catch ourselves in too many big transition moments. And I think that really pertains to playing against a team like Portland, who are so dangerous in attacking transition.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Next, we'll go to Sean Massman.
Troy, obviously interesting first game for yourself, not being on the sidelines. What was that like, being able to watch some of the work that you put in from afar, and were there any moments where you're just like, I just want to be on the pitch. I just want to be on the pitch?
Yeah, I felt that from the warm-up all the way through to the final whistle of me wanting to be on the field with the guys and going through that with them together, and I'm looking forward to doing that this weekend against Portland. But it was, on the other hand, it was great to be away from the group and just be able to I think that's when you get to really see if the things that you've been working on are coming to fruition in a full scope, when you're not there and able to maybe control and manipulate things because of the voice that you have. And I think Zach did a tremendous job leading the group, but when I'm away from the group and I get to see all the things that we have been working on come to light, not all of them, again, were exactly right, but many were. That just makes you feel satisfied as a coach. That's the ultimate job, is to be able to remove yourself from the group, and the group can still go execute in the way you want them to.
Next, we'll go to Ryan Kiefer.
Hi, Troy. You've kind of talked about this a little bit, and we saw it on the video, but for those that don't know, kind of share your thoughts on Zach getting that first MLS win, and your thoughts about Zach and him as a person, him as a coach, because you guys have a little bit of a history together.
Yeah, getting the first 3 points I think it was essential for us to be able to. We talked about how we wanted to move into a new direction for 2024, and that's a nice thing to say, but whenever you're able to do that and the way that we were able to do it with 3 points behind you, that's really the mark of the type of direction you want to go in. And guess what? We have to do that again this weekend. We have to go to a really difficult place and fight for points on the road. Not going to be easy, but I'm excited to see what that challenge holds for us. For Zach, I'm more proud of the team win, obviously, and what we were able to do with our team as a first outing. But there's a lot of me that's proud just from watching him grow through the last 5, 6, 7 years as a coach. But you have to understand, I've known this guy since 2006. That's whenever I first started coaching him in college. So we've had a relationship for a long time, and he did a tremendous job of being able to, under hard circumstances. It's not easy when you go up a man just to see out a game and get a result, but he was able to go and make sure that he provided the group what they needed, and for him to go toe-to-toe with another tremendous coach in this league that has such a great reputation, and Caleb Porter. I mean, that's a really special night for someone like Zach Prince, who's trying to take his first steps in the game at the MLS level in his second year in MLS.
Next, we'll go to Charlie Bone.
Hey, Troy, thanks for your time. We talked when you first got hired about the Open Cup and the role that it's had in your career and the respect you have for the tournament. So with a lot of chatter about that tournament lately, and it sounds like maybe getting close to an announcement, I wanted to ask you what your thoughts were on the possibility, strong possibility, it seems like, of DC not being involved in it. And did you have any contact with any of the people involved in those decisions?
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of contact through the process. I think the process itself was decided by some different leadership groups between the league and I would assume the Open Cup. But I know that our input from a club was that we absolutely wanted to participate. So, that's all we could do is communicate. We want to participate in that. And whatever the structure was that they ended up selecting teams on, that's out of our control. But that's a special competition, and if we're not involved in that, Charlie, I mean, that's something I'll be disappointed in from a personal standpoint, but also from a club standpoint. Once more, there's not a lot that I can do or we can do as a club necessarily at this stage to affect that, but I'm hopeful in future years that that's something that we want to continue to prioritize.
Thank you. Thanks.
Next, we'll go back to Sean. Sean, you there?
Yeah, sorry about that. Troy, you've obviously also had a chance to watch a lot of players from MLS Next in your youth academy system. So far, what's been your assessment of how the club is progressing from an X perspective, and have there been any players that you have noticed that have maybe impressed or excelled or might be deserving additional opportunities at higher levels this season?
Yeah, I'm very, very excited and optimistic about the future, and I haven't been able to watch a ton of our academy teams yet. I've had the pleasure of having 2 players in particular into the team over the last month, and for one player in particular, a week for him this past week was his first time with our group, and he's deserving of that. I'll hold off on those names. One name, prior from being in preseason camp and being asked the question about Graham Jones, he's continued to stay with us. But the other player, I'll hold off naming who that is currently, just until things continue to progress for him. I don't want to put any kind of spotlight or pressure on that, but he did quite well in his first week of training with the first team. And I've been closely connected with Pat and the academy since coming on board, and just trying to understand what our academy provides in terms of structure and talent. And the talent is absolutely there, and we want to continue to fine-tune the structure of it so that we can realize all the potential that we have in our academy for future years. We can see it with the first team already. Jackson plays on the weekend, Christian Fletcher, Ted Cudapetro. I mean, these are just 3 of the names that I can point out that I think we're going to see more of that in the future, and I'm very, very excited about that.
That's it, Troy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.